Hey Nerd Faithful, Rick here from thebigbanglife.com. I'm here at JordanCon 7 with guest author Pdmac. Pdmac is a good friend of mine. I met him last year at LibertyCon, and he introduced me to a new sci-fi, I consider like sci-fi slash fantasy series called Wolf 359. I just have to say, first off, when I met you last year, you were one of the most welcoming people I saw at the con.
Thank you.
The one thing that was most memorable, you were just like real on board about the website and real supportive of it. You just like handed me a copy of the book, and I was like, wow. And so next thing I know, I open it up and I'm just like, this is awesome. So I'm just now starting the second novel titled, if I'm not mistaken, Queen
Queen to Play.
to Play.
Right.
So, so tell me a little bit about, tell the fans a little bit about the series. And
Okay. It's epic sci-fi adventure, and it takes place on a planet circling Wolf 359. You've got two individuals who've been on a spaceship that's been destroyed, and they're based upon Drake's principle. You know, there's got to be life somewhere else out in the universe. And so it just so happens that the planet they land on, circling Wolf 359, is inhabited with humans. You know, we can expect that. But the civilization they encounter has its recorded history is only about 1,500 years, because the civilization itself had escaped from a plague, and so they've kind of had to restart themselves. I mean, think about being put into an environment with 50 people you don't know, and saying, create a future. And so these two, Alexis is the woman, she's a mixed martial arts berserker, and then Duncan, who's the guy who's more the academic. And so when they first get on planet, obviously Alexis is the one who's going to kind of protect them and take care of them. And from there they get caught up in this whole struggle for the kingdom and the political realm kind of thing.
yeah. So what kind of inspired you to write the series in the beginning?
Wow, great question. The story just kept unfolding, and you know, it wasn't going to be an 8,000-page book, you know. So start with book one, and got to a point where the story just kept getting bigger and more involved, and players and folks and forces focusing and impacting on each other. Just got carried away.
Well, even though it got carried away, it went in a good direction, I have to say. Now, do any of the characters in 359 resemble any family members or friends?
You know, and it always have the disclaimer: nobody reading it. No, there's nobody in this book. You know, it's interesting from a writer's perspective. Characters have actually their lives of their own. There may be traits and qualities, perhaps, of people that I've met or known or listened to or talked to, but I can truthfully say I can't think of anybody that I've kind of patterned a character after. And the longer I hang around with them, they'll do things that I don't expect them to do. So they're really kind of they're unique.
Yeah, I know the one character, which is by far one of my favorites. She's awesome. Tulane. She's a hologram.
She's a computer.
Yeah.
She's the ship's library computer, who is the ditzy kind of, you know, I hate to say ditzy blonde for lack of a cliche, but the ditzy character who's kind of just clueless about a lot of stuff. But she's obviously smart because she's a computer. She's brilliant, all that knowledge, but she's just kind of loopy.
Yeah.
And she was a fun character to write.
Right. What kind of got you? What inspired that whole character?
Yeah, great question.
How did you stumble upon that?
Well, it's one of those where, you know, quintessentially the computer, you know, holograms always, computers are serious, they're logical, and I thought it might be nice to have a computer that's just kind of flaky, you know, just like, oh well, you know, just out there and almost enjoying life on her own, but you can't help but not like her because she is just so flaky. You know?
Yeah, I loved it. She was the most she by far is the most I mean, they're all entertaining, but she was great. I mean, the way the way you made her character and how she just played throughout the plot, I mean, it was just fantastic.
I appreciate that.
Now, what are the plans for the future? Any
Okay.
recent works coming out?
Well,
Any plans for future works?
you said there's book 2. Book 3 should be out, knock on wood, next month, I'm hoping. It's finished, it's written. I've been just struggling with the book cover.
Yeah.
I've found a great artist who's going to rescue me and get my art done for me. So Lord willing, it should be out next month. And then
What's it titled?
that one is I know you saw that. I don't know, stress. It is.
A Once and Future King.
Oh, thank you. A Once and Future King.
A Once and Future.
Right, and that continues this one I enjoy because it's a twist at the end of that one that you're not expecting. It'll be a fun, and I won't, no spoilers, but it'll be a fun.
Now, is that going to be the final book?
No.
Okay.
Because I'm working on book 4.
Okay.
And about 100-something thousand words into book 4 right now, and there will be a book 5,
Okay.
and then that may be the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to 3 more books. I'll tell you, I'm just getting the second one. It's getting really good. You guys need to pick them up if you can. And if I don't forget, did you mention that you're planning on writing a standalone as
Yes. Also, worked on a steampunk novel that'll take place in Tombstone, Arizona, kind of a steampunk western.
well? Yeah.
And my wife and I were out there last week doing our research, and just had a great time. But I've got the plot, I've got the characters, I've kind of got it all rattling around in there, and it's just a question of getting it out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. And just a final question, as an author, what would you give encouragement to those that are up and coming, or just people that are doing writing for a hobby? What kind of advice can you give to them? Getting into the business and.
Great question. I'm a firm believer of mutual support. Writers ought to be helping other writers. And then, why are you writing to begin with? If you're writing because you want to make money, you may want to choose another profession. If you're writing because you have a passion and that's what you want to do, then you ought to write. And not be afraid of being critiqued. There are folks there who are good writers, but they're afraid of somebody saying, look, yeah, your writing sucks. And I related a story to one of the con attendees. I've got a master's in creative writing. And during the time I was taking my creative writing course, I was taking a course called Writing the Novel. And the professor and I, let's just say, didn't get off real well at the beginning. And apparently she took a dislike to me right from the get-go, and for whatever reason. But midway through the course, we were supposed to be writing a novel, and I was writing a novel. I had about 60 pages done. And she stood up in front of class and said, Doug, if I were you, I'd just throw this in the trash. And I said, well, don't sugarcoat it. Tell me how you really feel. But had I listened to her, I wouldn't be sitting here with you, because I knew I could do it. And I knew if I studied, I worked, I wrote, and I wasn't afraid of legitimate criticism, that my writing would improve. And the more I wrote, the better I got. And let's face it, as I said, I managed to get a master's in creative writing, so they didn't think it was all that bad. So don't be afraid of constructive criticism would be one of my key venues there. And then look for mutual support. Look for other folks who are like-minded, who want to be positive, upbeat, and encourage. That's what I look for, for other writers to do. Awesome.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for being able to take the time and do this interview with me. I was really excited to see. I was actually thinking I was going to see it at LibertyCon,
Right.
But I was able to catch it here, which was awesome.